Welcome to Cooking with Chris. My name is Chris Shelton, and some call me a Qigong master, a wizard. What else do they call me? I know what my wife sometimes calls me. But anyway, so today what I thought I'd continue on is the topic about pumpkin. If you saw the last segment on my yummy, delicious, that is double D, delicious and delightful pumpkin soup, I had a lot of pumpkin left over. So what I did was I actually froze it in a Ziploc bag. And what I'm going to do tonight is I'm going to make sure that I utilize the rest of this pumpkin. And if you, or somebody that knows me and comes into my clinic, you always will hear me say, Chris, what is one of the best foods that I could eat? And to me, one of the best foods that people could eat to benefit their spleen and their pancreas is butternut squash, acorn squash, for you over there, pumpkin, spaghetti squash, so all the squash families. This time of the year is when the spleen is most prone to disease. Actually, we just had the fall equinox, so now the lungs are most prone to disease. So if you pay attention to what's in season, you can actually help to prevent disease and illnesses that may fall in the later months. So let's get started. Here is half of an onion, some chives, and some green onions. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and chop these. So I'm going to start off with these onions first. Let's just do this really quickly. Remember to always roll your fingers. Roll your fingers, because it's much better to cut off a knuckle than to cut off a whole finger, okay? So I'm going to do it that way, this way.
Now you can this is fine, or as large as you want, and I'm going to mix these into my little decoction here. So as I start to blend things together, so I'm going to mix some of that in there.
So a little trivia, do you know why a pork chop and a lamb chop is called a chop? I'll get back to you in a little bit. That is for you meat eaters. Alright, so wrapping up here, I'm just going to finish slicing and dicing. What's really good about these green onions is that it tastes really good in egg whites, or eggs, if you're having eggs in the morning, if you eat eggs. Okay, so we're going to add those. Okay, going to pop those bad boys in here. Okay, so now what's going to happen is that I want a little bit more crunch in here also. So these are some saltless sunflower seeds. You know that saltless sunflower seeds are really good for anti-inflammatories to help to reduce inflammation in the body. So I want a little bit more crunch in here too, so I'm just going to put some of those in there. Okay, so these things are really cool. This is called a cave tool. Like Wolverine. Wow. So it's really good. So at first I'm going to utilize these to help to shred up my concoction here. Alright, so I'm just going to, so it's kind of like spaghetti squash. So I'm just kind of using this to kind of shred this all together. There's a piece of that pumpkin skin. I don't know if I want that in there or not. Doesn't matter. Okay.
Skin, no grin.
No grin skin. Okay. So see how it helps to tear this all up? Okay, again, I'm just using these are so cool. Go ahead and shred and dice. You can actually utilize this stuff also. I'm making a mess here. You can actually utilize this to make spaghetti if you want to, as opposed to using spaghetti noodles. Okay, I think that's good enough for now. Well, I'm going to mix my herbs in with the rest of this dish. For you vegetarians or vegans out there, I went ahead and got some smart bacon, because we're going to throw some of the smart bacon on top here. Now, this is not going to be a totally vegan dish, because instead of coconut oil, I will be using ghee on the top so it can brown better. But that's just me. But you could use coconut oil if you want. So I want a few strips of the smart bacon. Let's see if I can get this out of here.
Does it make you smart if you eat it?
Here, let me tell you. Bacon, do you make me smart if I eat you? So the jury's still out. So anyways, I'm going to just take a few of these. Well, if I can get them apart, actually, I'm going to take a few of these smart bacons. And they're actually really smart because they're trying to prevent me from cooking them. See that? See, that's a ploy. Boy, oh boy, it's a ploy. Okay. So these are going to be browning here. I said this last time, that when you cook, you don't just have to cook just to feed your body. You can make it into a medicinal dish for you, as well as something that's nutritious and delicious. Okay, so here's some cayenne. So we already have anti-inflammatory here with the sunflower seeds, so I'm not going to go too crazy with the cayenne because my wife will be eating this. Okay, and this is actually really good for people that are blood deficient, anemic. If you're having a hard time getting pregnant, this is a good dish to have. Now I've got some turmeric. All right, some turmeric. Right, so here. Now you go crazy with the turmeric. I go crazy. I put turmeric in my egg whites every single morning. All right, so this is some saltless lemon pepper. All right, so going to mix some of that stuff in there. Oh boy, look at this. There's going to be some deliciousness going on here. Okay. Also some cinnamon, because it is a warming herb. It's actually kind of neutral, but it is also good for your spleen and your pancreas as well. And during this time of the year where the weather is starting to hopefully change in your area, it's starting to get a little bit cooler, then we want to kind of nurture and warm the spleen and the stomach. That's why it's so important to start off your day with hot water and lemon, a whole lemon or whole lime, instead of just downing a smoothie before as your first meal of the day. Oh Jesus, do you see that? I went crazy. It just literally jumped out of my hand. Now if you're asking for exactness on tablespoon, teaspoon, this, whatever, play with it. Seriously, play with it. All right. I'm just eyeing this now. Now this is black sesame seeds, because why not? Because in this dish, this is your own creation. You can make it into whatever it is that you want to make it into. So I'm getting really excited here as my bacon, my small bacon is cooking. I love it. I love it. I really want to hug it. Okay, here's some black sesame seeds. Okay, now what's funny is that I'm contradicting myself, because I got saltless sunflower seeds. I got saltless lemon pepper, and now I'm going to add some Himalayan sea salt in here too. So, but again, it's just for flavor. But if you have hypertension or blood pressure, you know, maybe talk to your doctor first, or maybe just avoid it altogether. Okay, if your mom was like my mom, said, don't play with your food. Well, guess what we get to do next? We get to play with our food, and this is so great. So make sure that your hands are clean. Okay, my hands are clean, and I'm going to wash that gray right out of my hair. I'm going to wash that gray right out of my hair. Now, you don't have to sing when you cook, though I like to sing. I think the food likes it too. At least that's what I've been told. At least in my world, that's what I've been told. So I'm going to just use my hands to break apart any bigger chunks still that I have. Ah, tamale! Alright, well these are toast. Well, let's see what we can do with them. I don't know. Some of my, oh, by the way, I went ahead and pre-sprayed my pan here, or my casserole dish, with some aerosol-free avocado spray. Check that stuff out, girlfriend. Alright, I'm going to spray this because I think that's partly what... Number one, I wasn't watching. This pan's really hot. So we're going to try a little bit more of these strips here. Okay. I'm going to lower the heat too. That's maybe also part of my problem. It's okay. It's okay to make mistakes. No such thing as perfection. You know, my first editor, she used to say that perfection is the enemy of done. Oh, sounds like bacon. Surprise, surprise, surprise. Okie dokie. Should I do 4 pieces? Let's see. I'm the kind of cook that I like to clean as I go. That's just me. I don't like having to clean up after the fact. So, as you can see, I've already cleaned up most of the dishes over there. Okay, let's stick one more in here.
What a dreamboat.
Well, some people call me a demigod. I don't even know what that means. So, like I said, I am putting some ghee in here. The reason why I'm doing this is that I want it to brown. So I already have my oven preheated at 375. Now this is probably like about a couple tablespoons of ghee, and now I'm going to just use my hands once again. Now you could use obviously a spatula or something like that, but I love to play with my food. Okay, so I've already compressed this, kind of like a little casserole. Look at it, it's like a little yummy little delightful casserole here. So this is what we're after. So just some of that ghee there. Now like I said, you can use coconut oil. That's okay.
Okay, now what?
Alright, so now we have this smart bacon because they told me, my voices told me that it's going to make me smarter. It's going to add a little bit more crisp, a little bit more crunch to our bite here once this thing is done. By the way, the reason why a pork chop and a lamb chop is called a chop is because if you cut any bone with a cleaver, that's called a chop. A T-bone or a porterhouse steak from a cow, which is the same anatomy, just like we have our own T-bones and porterhouses inside of us. Cow's anatomy is no different than a pig's anatomy, lamb anatomy, even our own anatomy. Did you know that we actually have a fillet inside of our body in a New York strip? Anyways, so with the cow, at least, you can't cut it with a chop because the bone is too thick. So any time that you could actually cut a bone with a cleaver, then that's called a chop. So that's why it's called a pork chop and a chop. And if you got that right, we'll send you out a free t-shirt with Shelton Qigong on it. Okay, so got that going on. Now I want some cheese. Cheese.
Cheesy.
Love it, cheese. All right, so this is a smart cheese too. It smells like cheese. That's amazing. All right, because I want this thing to be cheesy. I want this thing to be cheesy now. Again, this is no dairy in here. I think, honestly, the reason why I like playing with my food is because I'm rebellious, and this is to make up for all the times that my mom told me I could not play with my food. Okay. Just kidding. Just kidding, Mom. Okay, so we're going to slide this bad boy in here. 375, and we're going to cook it or bake it for about 35 minutes, and we'll come back and see how it looks. Alright, here we have it, the finished product. Check it out.
Yum.
Now Mama P is going to be trying it out to see how it tastes. Stay tuned. Oh my Jesus.
Perfect timing.
Alright.
All right, I'm ready
How
for
is
some
it?
pumpkin lovin'.
How is it?
Ooh, it's hot.
Blowing it. JK. No, I'm not.
Mmm. Ooh, I like the crunch of the pumpkin seeds. The sunflower seeds.
Wow, there you go.
Creamy and delicious, and great for my spleen.
Thank you so much for joining me once again. Another delightful dish to really help your spleen and your pancreas. And if you're diabetic, you know, this is something that could actually help your blood sugar. I wouldn't use the ghee though. I'd maybe go ahead and use some coconut oil instead. But anyways, pumpkins, gourds, acorn squash, those types of things are really good for the stomach and spleen. If you're somebody who's deficient, blood deficient, or anemic, I'd recommend eating as much of this as you possibly can. Or anything that you do too much of could create a problem as well too. But anyways, I hope you enjoyed the recipe. Please share this and click on the link below and give us your comments. I would like to hear if you tried it, how it came out for you, and if you did something different, that's fantastic. You know, I was going to throw some goji berries in there as well too, but I restrained myself. So here I am, Chris Shelton with Cooking with Chris. I will see you later.